Hello, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, people. Make sure to smash a like as you're coming in and subscribe if you are new. This is on Premiere. This is not live for anyone that clicks on it straight away. But feel free to get into the chat, in the Premiere chat. But listen, people, we've got a Q&A on Friday with Melon and Alfie. So if you want your question to be answered, either join us live at 8 p.m. on Friday or ask your question on the community page on the latest post or in the comments below, and we'll answer your questions. It doesn't have to be about football either, but make sure to spam your questions. You can ask more than one as well. But international break, we're just bored. We're just trying to make content. But listen, I'm here to rant a little bit. I'm here to not passionately rant because I ain't got the energy. I ain't got the energy for that. But I've been meaning to make this video for about probably since the start of this year. To be fair, I think I could have made this video 6 months ago. I could have made this video last year. But neutrals don't understand West Ham. That's the title, and it's Mikes versus everyone for a reason. That's why the Get Rich or Die Trying cover is on the thumbnail. Elite A1 thumbnail skills. That was sarcasm, by the way. I don't actually think I'm good at making thumbnails. I'm just funning it. But listen, when you hear a neutral talk about West Ham, you never hear a proper opinion, because a lot of these people that are on podcasts, whether they're on mainstream media or YouTubers now are doing it, that are trying to go the mainstream media route, or it's just people that have pretty much have this ego of being this football guy that they really aren't. And what I mean by that is because they've succeeded in their lives by talking about football, that they think they know everything about every club. You don't, because you don't watch us. And this is the problem with people. This has been going on since last year. Like, when we're still arguing with people talking about the previous manager, when we got battered every week. I've had people comment on my videos talking about it. I've had people comment on shows that with bigger audience talking about it. But none of these people, if I told you to name 5 West Ham games that they watched, they couldn't give you 5. They couldn't give you 5. And I'm talking about specifically last season. This was always going to be a problem. I suspected this would be a problem when the new manager came in. What you're seeing now is a lot of the media, the Alan Pardew's, and I'm going to go specifically at Talksport because this is the last time I'll talk about them ever, because I don't want to talk about them. But it's about time I go for everyone for once and for all, because enough's enough. Enough's enough. And there's no point. There's no point going on about it. So I'm just going to leave it in this video. Andy Goldstein, Jeff Stelling. Jeff Stelling said 6 days ago, and I've only just seen this today, that West Ham should go and get Frank Lampard. Now, obviously, I'd like to think that Jeff Stelling isn't that stupid and isn't that serious. By the way, Lampard is linked to the Coventry job, so they'll probably go down to League One. But this is kind of the problem with what football media has become. And this is why I'm warning everyone that watches this, the small core audience that I have watching this, the regulars that always click on my videos and stuff. Please be careful with who you watch, with what information you're taking in. Because what football media used to be, and as much as we don't like the pundits on TV, to an extent, it's still somewhat credible to an extent. But you see, like the radio shows, YouTube used to be to give people a voice on their opinion. What is this now turned into is, because a lot of these guys are seeing success, they're kind of playing the footballing game more than they're actually giving their opinion. And unfortunately, this is filtered down to the content creator space as well. I'm not going to name any names because I'm not one of them people that wants to call people out for the sake of it. And I'm sure all these people are nice people in general, but I can't lie. I've kind of had enough of people talking about my club and not knowing anything about my club. So when I talk about this, is with nothing but truth, because I watch my club week in, week out. Unfortunately, it's not something I actually want to do, to be honest with you. But you want your team to be better and you root for your team, and nothing happens because I support West Ham. But this is the problem. You will never understand us. You will never be able to understand us. The problem is everyone's moving like Talksport now. So what Talksport do, and they don't just do it to us, but I'm sure every fan base feels like this, especially in the Premier League, especially if you're a regular team in the Premier League, I'd say. Maybe it's less so for the promoted teams and the relegated teams that are kind of yo-yoing on a regular basis, but with teams that are usually in the Premier League, you'll resonate with this a lot more. They are trying to wind you up. They are trying to get a headline for the sake of it. And this is the problem now with call-in shows on TalkSport. I'm not talking about anyone else's YouTubers calling shows because that's a bit different because you're actually getting people that, watch your stuff on a regular basis. And a lot of these YouTubers that do call-in shows are actually very good, very good at their job and very good at making content. Specifically the TalkSport lot. You could phone in as any fan you'd want. I could phone in as a Southampton fan and just chat a bag of shit when giving a mad opinion on Southampton. I don't even support them. I could do that. Like I've heard the TalkSport radio before, being in the car with people like they're supposedly Scouse people that are supposedly Man United fans. Like they're obviously being a window because they're a Liverpool fan, just like giving their opinion on Ten Hag, etc. The credibility in football media, it has disappeared a long time ago because I feel like when you watch me specifically, and you watch the people that I collaborate with, a lot of us will only talk on things that we know, where we've watched the team. If I haven't really watched you on a regular basis, I can't really comment on your team, and I don't do that. If I've watched you on your manager and stuff like that, watch you play games against each other and stuff like that, I can comment on you. And the thing is, as I said, it's not the only team we do it to. I'm not here to be like everyone's against us and all that. What I'm saying is that neutrals will never be able to understand us. And the reason why I say that, think about the amount of opinions you hear about West Ham of people that have never watched West Ham. I'm not going to comment what I say. I'm not going to name the guy, but I don't actually remember the guy's account. That's why you don't go on Twitter as well. Twitter and TalkSport, two platforms that you shouldn't go on for football opinions and football media, etc. Same with Instagram and same with TikTok because they're actually worse than Twitter. But I saw something about quote tweeting, like, because obviously West Ham fans that have these accounts online that hide behind football pictures are there just to get their likes and get their retweets and buds. God knows if they're actually West Ham fans or not, but they're there for vibes. Someone put "Good morning, West Ham fans," and it was the picture of the Conference League. No, it was a video of the Conference League win. And then, obviously, when videos like that get pushed out, obviously the internet is free. Anyone can use the internet, and it'll just get shared around. So neutrals will see that. And neutrals would be like, oh, if any West Ham fan that doesn't like David Moyes, or no, any West Ham fan that thought David Moyes should go, you're a bad human. You're a bad human being. So now it's personal. So the guy that put that, you're a pussy, or for example, like that's just the first point. But second of all, this is the kind of people that comment about my club that don't watch my club. It's stuff like also West Ham fans thought they were bigger than David Moyes and stuff like that as well. And this is what you wanted and stuff like that. This is not what I wanted. I'm the only one on YouTube and on social media associated with West Ham that's kept the same energy with two different managers. And I was the first one to do that. That's not a brag, but it's just stating a fact. I was the first one to keep the same energy with both of the managers. I will give you time when time is warranted and time is earned. I did not want this. Football is very simple, and I'm going to repeat myself once again. If you're not getting the best out of your players that you have, you should leave the club. And if you want me to give you a fucking tactical breakdown of it, I'll do that tomorrow. But this is the problem. I've kept the same energy. This is not what I wanted. In fact, when Lopetegui was first here, I didn't want him. People were doing bar charts and graphs and paragraphs about his career, propaganda. I got behind the guy and said Lopetegui era starts here, but I've been criticizing him from pre-season games, from the Aston Villa game. Everyone knows that watching my match reactions, I see the same people in my chat all the time. Everyone knows I've been critical of his lineups, his tactics from game week 1. Doesn't mean I was going to say manager route. And this is kind of the problem with everyone. It's like, You should have kept David Moyes. Let me give you all these neutrals that are still watching the video 10 minutes in. Listen to me. If you are neutral and you generally want to understand West Ham, which I'm sure some of you just want to dislike the video, which is fine, I don't care. I'm going to repeat myself, and anyone that knows me, that knows already know I've been saying this. 6-0 against Arsenal, 5-0 against Chelsea, 5-0 against Fulham, 5-1 against Liverpool in the Cup, 4-1 against Aston Villa, 5-2 to Crystal Palace, 3-0 to Man United, all in one season. Season before that, well, we did win the Conference League, 5-1 to Newcastle, 4-0 to Brighton. So that, and the reason why I specifically went for those games, the games we lost and got battered in, was to stop this whole notion that we are hard to beat, and under David Moyes we would have been harder to beat. So, okay, we lost 3-0 to Nottingham. Like, I don't even compare games from this season to last season because I think it's pointless, and I think both managers did a terrible job these past two seasons. And people are like, but you finished 9th. I can get into that in a second. The Nottingham Forest. I remember a Nottingham Forest fan commented online, being like, "Oh, it's usually against David Moyes. It's such a hard game to play against at the City Ground. You beat us 1-0 and 2-0. What's the difference between you beating us 3-0 this time? We lost all those games and we didn't score against you. So what difference does that make? You won all 3 games." Because we drew with Everton this year and we lost to Everton last year at home. It doesn't make a difference. Both managers are shit. We won against Chelsea last year, lost against Chelsea this year. Doesn't make a difference. Both managers are shit at home, by the way. We lost Palace away last season. We beat Palace away this season. Doesn't make a difference. Both managers are shit. But you were 9th. Okay, let's diffuse that for a second. We won 4 games in 2024. So a lot of that was carried over the first half of the season. In the part of the season where we were still getting battered 5-0 and 6-0, well, no, 5-0 by Fulham and 5-1 by Liverpool in the Cup. I'm not here to defend anyone. I think David Moyes is a legend, but he was a legend that needed to go. My opinion on David Moyes has always been fair. There's even a video of me talking about the whole David Moyes reign on my YouTube channel. So if you want me to give the positives and negatives, and you actually don't want to get emotional about it, go to that video. There's a video on the channel talking about the whole reign. Perfectly. In my opinion, because it's my opinion. The reason why we are here in the first place is because David Moyes wanted to change the style of play. Mikel Antonio even said it on Filthy Fellas and said it on his podcast. David Moyes, in 2021, wanted to change the style of play to play through the lines after we finished 6th, instead of being sitting back and stuff. He didn't actually carry on with that in the 2 seasons that he wanted to do that, in the 2021 season, the 21-22 season. We tried in the first few games of the first season that I talked about, but then we reverted to typing the big games. Obviously, that's why we beat Liverpool 3-2 and stuff as well. And also, the reason why we were so good in those seasons as well, because especially in the whole 2021 season and the first half of the 21-22 season, David Moyes was not only like sitting back and defending and hitting us on the counter, and we were hitting on the counter, which was the last time we were actually good on a counter attack. But he would tweak it tactically every game as a pragmatic manager. He stopped doing that seasons after that. In the next season, we bought people like Paquetá, Skamaka, and all that big transfer window, to change the style of play. The problem is, when David Moyes likes to buy players, he doesn't play them. Half of them don't play. He actually waited a season to incorporate Emerson in, to actually genuinely play Aaron Cresswell the whole time. He was so afraid of playing Emerson at left back that when Emerson did come on, he was playing on the wing, or only when the few times we played 3 at the back. I could go into this again. I could go on and on and on. And also, I want to say this to all the people that I'm usually in my chats, that usually someone on Twitter said this and someone on Twitter said this. Ignore Twitter, for the love of God, please. And don't go on Twitter when it comes to opinions. Because most of these people, 90% of them, are hiding behind someone else's picture to develop their opinion out there. Now, I know people in my chat also do that as well. But a lot of you are way more respectable than the people I see on Twitter. Because on Twitter, there's a difference where they hide behind someone's picture to give all their energy out there so they can say something outrageous or a hot take or an unpopular opinion. and not actually catch really any flack for it because they don't have the guts to put their face online. I'm putting my face online. I'm putting my face online. You're seeing me say these opinions, and I don't come here to get attention off YouTube. I'm nearly on 600 subs. I'm grateful for that. But if I wanted to get attention, I would be over exaggerating my emotions. I would still be ranting, even though I don't have the energy to rant. Um, every rant that you see from me is genuine. Every opinion you see from me is real. If I was such a let's diffuse this argument before it ever becomes a thing, that I'm not a real West Ham fan, why would I buy the flag of the Conference League parade right behind me? And also some of these kits, yeah, they're up there. Yeah, I've got kits from before I was doing YouTube, before the 2021 season, before the 21-22 season, which is where the channel started. Now, content creators. Let's get on to content creators. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've seen West Ham think they're bigger than David Moyes. No, we didn't want Lopetegui. Well, a lot of us didn't want Lopetegui. Some people online thought this would work out. I was like, I'll get behind him and stuff like that as well. I didn't think he was going to be like this. But some people did also warn me, saying that Lopetegui isn't the man anyway. I was like, I'll just give him a chance. As what do I always say when I even talk about a new player that joins West Ham? I'll give him a chance. Difference is I'll actually give them a season to settle in, which is another problem with the club, where I've seen a report from ex-West Ham employee talking about they're not happy with their players' impact and stuff like that of the new signings as well. But also, ex-West Ham employee did say that's not the full quote, and we know X gets misquoted quite a lot on Twitter anyway. The content creators, I love the comment about West Ham. I've replied to a couple of videos before. I've replied to a couple of content creators online, diffusing their arguments. The problem is they have bigger platforms than me because this gets more likes. People decide to like it without actually researching the narrative. That's why likes and comments online, especially on Twitter, don't really make a fucking difference. They don't make a difference. Because the real never prevails on social media. The real only prevails in real life. But a lot of these guys are putting lazy arguments out there. I've never seen so many people obsessed with another team's ex-manager. I've never seen this for any other club, and it's getting kind of weird. But I also think this is because David Moyes, for example, had friends in the media, a lot of friends in the media. Alan Shearer even exposed himself. He even exposed himself. The reason why he said he was defending David Moyes so much is because David Moyes helped him when he was trying to do a coaching course. He said that on the Restless Football podcast when they interviewed David Moyes. I even made a video on that podcast talking about how they were berating West Ham fans. All Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker, and Michael Richards used to do was just berate West Ham fans when they used to talk about us. Straight after the West Ham 0, Arsenal 6, it was straight, be careful what you wish for. You think I wish to get beat 6-0? Am I not allowed to wish for better than get beaten 6-0? And this is why I'm manager out again, because we got beat 4-1 by Tottenham and 3-0 by Chelsea. The difference is now, the media usually like to hold back when there's managers on the line, managers' jobs on the line, and they're going to get sacked. They're not holding back on Lopetegui. It's very unanimous. And the thing is, that was always going to be the case. And the thing is, I called out this narrative before because there's some pussios on TalkSport that are like people that work behind the scenes that are already tweeting about this, constantly doing be careful what you wish for. Be careful what we wish for, yeah? Do you think I wish for this? No. The difference is I'm keeping the same energy. I don't have a big enough platform to really be the representation of this club, etc. For me to stand up for the narratives of this club. But when I go on every show, I'll make sure I represent and destroy any stupid narrative that comes about. And listen, I'm not here to hold back anymore. I will call everything out now because it's starting to get ridiculous. Neutrals, you will never understand West Ham because you don't watch West Ham. The reason why the usual reply is West Ham are cool, small club and cool, whatever. A lot of these fans, and no offense, because I know some of you guys watch the channel, I'm not going at you specifically, but I'm going at some people in your fan bases as well. A lot of these people that support Big Six clubs don't watch teams outside the Big Six, but think they know everything about non-Big Six teams when they've never watched them. They just look at the fact that they scored on Twitter, look at a goal, and then they gather their opinion on their podcast or on their Twitter accounts, or they're one of the media lot. They know nothing about the club. This goes for pundits as well. This goes for pundits on whether it's Gillette Soccer Saturday, Super Sunday, the Talksport shows, the TNT shows, whatever it is. This goes for everyone. You don't watch us, but you seem to have this a lot of things to say about our club without even watching us itself. Listen, anyone that has a problem with this video, I don't care. I don't think anyone will have a problem with this video because I ain't a big enough content creator for that. But feel free to, leave it in the comments so I can ignore it in terms of like you disagree with this video, because I'm not here to debate people when it comes to this shit. I will have debates with people, but I'm not one of these people that wants to have a heated debate just so I can put it in the title and stuff like that. I don't care. I don't have the energy for that. I'm also just frustrated with the same old narratives that come about my club. One more narrative that I want to destroy before I end this video. If David Moyes had these players, that's the next one I've heard. First of all, David Moyes, like Nicholas Fulkrug, hasn't played. But what I will say is Moyes rejected Fulkrug last year, so he wouldn't have wanted him. If Moyes had Somerville, he would have mistreated Somerville just as Lopetegui has. He wouldn't have played him. He would have played someone out of position over him. Max Kilman, fair. Wan-Bissaka, fair. Cool. But we wouldn't have gone for 40 million of Max Kilman, because guess what? Even when Steiner was here, Moyes was still in control. Moyes was still in control of the transfers. Because guess what? Just like at Manchester United, just like Rio Ferdinand said, Moyes likes to be in control of everything. He doesn't even like the director of football role. Like, go and listen to him on the overlap. He doesn't like this whole director of football stuff. He likes to be in control. That's why in the modern game, he won't last very long. Because a lot of these people go directors of football to run the transfer market. Why do you think we only signed Calvin Phillips in January? Moyes likes a small squad, and Moyes has been after Calvin Phillips for a year and a half before we signed him. We saw how that worked out. We saw how it worked out with James Ward-Prowse. The only Steiden signing there was Mavropanos. So I will criticise Steiden for that, because Mavropanos is not good in my opinion. Not a good starter. If people want us to go back to phoning agents to sign players, go ahead. Go ahead and protest against the director of football. The man who's actually brought us an active transfer window in specific targets that the manager wanted. The real problem is David Sullivan. Of course it is. And it always has been. But that's why I'm not excited, and I'm never going to be excited again about this club until this prick leaves. There's nothing I can do about it. So, it is what it is. People don't care. So I don't care. These players don't care when they play on the pitch. The people that comment about us as neutrals, like trying to talk shit on us, they don't care either. Now, I want to make it big in this content creator scene, of course. I want to collaborate with people. I want to do shows with people. I want people on the channel and stuff like that as well. But if I have to risk that by calling these people out because they're chatting shit about my club, I'll do it. I'm not compromised. I'm not paid by anyone. I'm not on a payroll. I don't get paid to do this shit. But I'm willing to crash out on everyone. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. And the email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.